Today, we're going to dive into a topic that's absolutely fundamental to our overall health, but, it often gets misunderstood or just not talked about. We're talking about sexual wellness. We're going to unpack what it really means in a way that's clear, positive, and genuinely useful for your life.
So let me ask you, when you hear the term sexual health, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For a lot of us, it's kind of clinical stuff, right? Like disease prevention or reproduction. And look, that's definitely part of it, but it's just one small piece of a much bigger and way more interesting puzzle.
And this slide really nails that shift in thinking. On the left, you've got the old view, which is super reactive. It's all about fixing problems or just the absence of disease. But the new view on the right, sexual wellness, that's a whole different ballgame. It's about a complete state of being, physical, emotional, mental, and social. It's proactive, it's holistic, and it puts pleasure, consent, and respect right where they belong, front and center.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll go beyond the bedroom to really get a handle on this new definition. Then, we'll break down the pillars of wellness. After that, we'll look at the mind-body connection to see how it all clicks together, and we'll wrap up with a really practical blueprint for wellness.
So let's get started by really expanding this conversation, right? We're moving it beyond just the physical or the clinical to understand what sexual wellness actually looks and feels like in our everyday lives.
So here it is, the core idea. Sexual wellness is a positive and holistic approach. It basically means recognizing that our sexual health isn't some weird separate part of who we are tucked away in a corner. No, it is just as fundamental to our overall well-being as what we eat, how much we sleep, or our mental health. It's all connected.
All right, so that holistic idea sounds great, but how do we actually, wrap our heads around it? The key is this really useful model that breaks it all down into 4 interconnected pillars. It gives us a super clear framework to work with.
At the very heart of sexual wellness are these 4 pillars: physical, emotional, mental, and social. I love thinking about it like a 4-legged table. If one of those legs is wobbly or too short, the whole thing is off balance, right? So let's take a quick look at each one.
First up, the physical pillar. This is probably what we think of most often. We're talking about anatomy, reproductive health, and of course, safety. But, and this is a big deal, this wellness model also explicitly includes physical pleasure as a totally valid and healthy part of being human.
Next is the emotional pillar, and this one is all about connection. It's about our ability to build intimacy, to be vulnerable with someone, and to navigate our relationships with real empathy. You could really say it's the heart of our sexual well-being. Then we've got the mental pillar. This is your inner world, all that stuff going on inside your head. Your self-esteem, your beliefs and attitudes about sexuality, and, crucially, your ability to manage the stress and anxiety that can have such a huge impact on this part of your life.
And finally, the social pillar. Because hey, we don't exist in a vacuum, right? This is all about how we interact with others. It's about navigating cultural messages, learning to communicate our boundaries clearly, and building relationships that are truly founded on mutual respect and enthusiastic consent.
So we have these 4 pillars. But here's the most important part. They are not separate silos, not at all. They are constantly influencing each other. And understanding that interplay, how they all dance together, well, that's where the true power of this model really lies. This analogy just frames it perfectly. Think of sexual wellness like your favorite song. Your physical health might be the baseline, holding it all down. But without the emotional connection of the vocals or the mental clarity of the treble, you just don't have a great song. All 4 pillars have to be in harmony. Now, a concept that sits right at the intersection of all of these pillars is consent. And it is so crucial to understand this modern definition. Consent is not passive. It is not just about the absence of a no. It is the active, clear, and enthusiastic presence of a yes. And, this is key, it has to be ongoing.
Okay, so we've covered the what and the why. Now, let's bring it all home with a practical blueprint. The key takeaways you can start thinking about today.
All right, here it is, your wellness blueprint. First, always remember wellness is holistic. It's about taking care of all 4 pillars, not just your physical health. Second, communication is the foundation for absolutely everything. It's how you build trust, set boundaries, and create real connection. Third, this whole journey starts with self-awareness. Knowing yourself, your body, your desires, your limits, that's step 1. Fourth, try to see this as a lifelong journey, not some destination you have to race to. Be patient. And finally, remember that education is empowerment. Seriously, just by learning about this, you've already taken a massive step forward.
And that leaves us with this powerful question. What would our world, our relationships, and even our own health look like if we treated sexual wellness not as some taboo topic, but as a vital, normal component of a healthy life? It's definitely something worth thinking about. Thanks for joining me on this explainer.